People are quick to point out that there's one name conspicuously missing from the people that Marcus Aurelius gives thanks to in his Meditations. That name is that of the emperor who chose Marcus to succeed him, Hadrian. The entire first book of Meditations, Marcus gives thanks to his tutors, his mom, his adopted father, the gods, he even gives thanks to a nameless slave. But there's no Hadrian. Hadrian was the one who recognized promise in the young Marcus Aurelius and set up a succession plan to adopt Antoninus, who would then adopt Marcus, and they would both become emperors. In Donald Robertson's new biography of Marcus Aurelius, he notes this discrepancy of Hadrian. He goes on to explain some of the flaws in his character, the suspicious ways in which Hadrian inherited the throne, how he traveled around with a twink, how he had spies in all parts of the empire, how he exiled his rivals. I think that these things are taken out of context though, and that people may be being too hard on Hadrian. Things are being looked into a little too much. After all, you can paint anyone in a bad light if you wanted to. Marcus Aurelius allowed Justin Martyr to be executed on his watch. He also spent over a decade fighting wars against his subjects. I'm not saying this as a knock on Marco. I'm just saying you could make it be if you wanted to. Plus, if he didn't kill Justin Martyr, we'd have to have a different word for martyr, and that would put us in an entirely different timeline. All that I'm saying here is that Hadrian was an emperor, and generally speaking, he makes it into the list of the 5 good emperors for a reason. No, he wasn't perfect, but his rise to power from Trajan wasn't as sketchy as people make it out to be. Yes, Hadrian did have spies, but so does every country. It's completely normal. There are, after all, enemies afoot. Are we going to say that the United States and Canada are tyrannical as well? We could make an argument for that, but let's leave that one for another day. Maybe Marcus didn't mention Hadrian because he really did hate him. Maybe he didn't learn a single thing from him, even though they spent many years together. It could be that he was just in a different part of his life. Hadrian, after all, died when Marcus was still a teenager, and when Marcus was writing his Meditations to himself, several decades had passed. It could also be that Marcus died before he even had a chance to reflect on what he learned from Hadrian. From nearly all accounts, Hadrian was a good emperor in his early days. And maybe it was just that his paranoia in his later days added complexities to the feelings that Marcus had for him. It took a little longer to parse through that, and he had to untangle these complicated feelings to find the gold nuggets. And you know what else it could be? It could very well be that he didn't like Hadrian at all and only learned from him how not to be. All that I'm saying is that we don't know, and stating it so surely is a blunder, in my opinion. There's a lot that we could look into and that we could deduce, but there isn't enough evidence either way. But what do you think about Hadrian and his pupil, Marcus Aurelius, and their relationship? And what do you think about maybe subscribing and watching some more of my videos? I would really appreciate that.